we were sitting at the table reading. It says opens with the Planet Express, and it closes in on the front door. And I said, boy, it would be funny if there was a sign that said, sorry, we're open. And next thing you know, boom, it's in the cartoon. I didn't think they took that seriously.
We have our friend Billy West coming on in. Give him a big hand. How are you, sir?
Doing okay.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right, well, this, as with the other panels, this is your panel, Billy, so if you want to, you can talk about whatever you want. We can answer some questions. We'll do it all. We got a mic that's working.
How you doing, I hope?
There we go.
That's my new thing. I just go around, how you doing, I hope? Do you? Mario? You just hope, okay. I like that. Now what do we do?
Yeah,
Big shot comes in already, and now I don't know what to do. That's the way it works. Yeah.
Well, we could start with talking about we talked about Futurama yesterday.
Yes.
What other property of the years, all the years that you've been doing this, would you love to see come back that you would love to do the voice of?
Let's see. In the idea of a love-hate kind of thing, if I did Ren and Stimpy again, I'd be screaming and yelling like I did 31 years ago, and I'd have to tell them, you better keep a paramedic in the lobby. Because I was a young guy when I did that show. I'm 72 now, so forget it, do I want to stroke out in a studio? I don't know. Maybe I do, though. No, I mean, it would be funny. It'd be like, ah! And then... People will speak kindly of me, I hope. I hope.
We will, at least.
Okay.
Well, I'll start. Who has a question here? Anybody have a question? We've got a kind of intimate group here, so
yes.
I think we can get
All
to
the
a
better.
lot. We'll start with this gentleman right here because he's right in front of me.
Okay.
How you doing, Billy?
Good, how are you?
Doing well.
I'm not bleeding from any holes, so I must be doing okay.
Well, this may be a bit of a sensitive subject, but as many of us may know, that Zapp Brannigan was originally supposed to be played by the late Phil Hartman.
Right.
I think you had the chance to work with Phil.
I did.
How would you have felt if Phil was able to portray Zapp, and how do you think he would respond to the fan base if he was still with us today?
He was one of the nicest guys I ever met. Considering he was a huge star, considering he was a super talent, there was nothing he couldn't do, and he was so nice to me. As a matter of fact, when I still lived in New York, I was working, this is like 30-something years ago, I was working on the Howard Stern show in New York. Hey, Robin, I just farted. Yeah. What's really talking about, Robin? Yeah, so anyway, he called me up one time. I was coming home, and I phoned. The cell phone had just been invented. And I phoned the house because I was always looking for an excuse to use the phone. It was like people would just run around and go, guess where I am? Just to make a phone call because it was such a big deal. I'm standing on the Brooklyn Bridge. Guess where I am? Yeah, right. That's exactly what it was. It was a big deal then. So anyway, he called my house. And my wife, at the time, when I was married, my wife spoke to him, and she said, Phil Hartman called here looking for you. I said, V, do you know how many guys I know that could pull a prank like that on you? How do you know it's not me? And she said, no, it was him. He called from the set of News Radio. And I said, oh, okay. Well, I called back, and it was sure him. And he only called to say that he was a fan. Yeah. He was like, he said, listen, you ought to move to California. He says, everything that you want to do is out in Los Angeles. He said, and I'll help you get acclimated. I mean, how generous of spirit is that? You know? Just like, he didn't want anything. He just wanted to say that he appreciated my work. And I said, well, I kind of know who you are too, you know? But as far as him doing that role, I mean, it would have been perfect. It would have been perfect for him. And we actually did an M&M's commercial together. And he played this swaggering candy bar named Chucky Bar. Yeah, and he was strutting around the poolside, and he starts melting. He thinks he's badass, but he's melting. And so I remember doing it. I remember standing next to him while we were doing it. I usually work with J.K. Simmons, who was the yellow M&M. I don't know how many people knew that. Yeah, J. Jonah Jameson. The farmer's insurance guy. The Notre Dame Cathedral fire. Seen it? Covered it.
Pictures of peanuts and bring them now.
Parker! Yeah, he's one of the greatest actors that we ever had. And I knew that 30-something years ago when I first saw him. As a matter of fact, I keep reminding myself of another story here and there. I came home, I was on the road, and I came home, and my wife was watching TV, and she said, get in here. And I was like, what? She said, look at this show. This is hardcore, this show. It's called Oz. It's on HBO. It's a prison show. And she said, everybody's an actor, of course, but she said, there's this one guy, this mother, you know. And I said, what? And she said, he's no actor. This guy is the real deal. He was so evil. He's the worst guy in the prison. And I'm looking, and I go, she said, what? I said, I know him. You do? Yeah, he's the yellow M&M. So she wouldn't, you know, I took her to the studio in Manhattan because I was going to do a commercial with him, and she was coming up the hallway like afraid to meet him because she believed that, no, it can't be. This is the same guy. But meanwhile, he's the sweetest guy in the world. And talk about generous of spirit, he wins an Oscar for a movie called Whiplash. 2 days later, he's in the studio with me doing M&M's commercials. But that's a journeyman, you know. That's the way you're supposed to be. Celebrity doesn't mean shit to me. I got to tell you right now, it doesn't mean anything to me. It never did, really. My heroes are artists and sculptors and composers and later on in life, it became frontline workers. Those are my heroes, not celebrities. I mean, you could be a celebrity for farting the national anthem, you know. Simon Cowell presses the golden buzzer, you know. You're on your way to the top. You know, to me, that's all celebrity is. It's like you're famous. Who isn't famous for something, you know? But, yeah, so there's your story. I would have loved it if he had done it. But I was I know what I was getting at, is he and I talked about our love of big, dumb announcers from the old days. You know, he really was into that. You know, the day and age where there were these guys that just loved the sound of their own voice so much, you know, that jivey. And I used to say to myself, who talks like this? Nobody. I said, I mean, I can do it, but it's still like fakey, cheesy, you know? This conclude, that is all. And I used to call them big dumb announcers. And so he was into that too. So we shared that love. So that's what Zapp Brannigan had. Is that what I learned from being in radio? There was a lot of those guys, those dinosaurs that would add rumination and prefixes to their sound when they were talking. They go, well, it's 5 minutes past the big hour. It was 7 o'clock. Yeah. You know, like he was putting his feet up on the desk. Yeah. Yeah, it's tough work being behind this microphone. I was slaving behind a hot microphone all day. Yeah. You know. Yeah, it was such jive, baloney.
I thought we all gave Phil Hartman a hand.
How about it? Really great guy.
Right. Who's got another question for Billy? We can go right here in the front as well.
Thank you.
Hi.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
All is well.
Good. Out of all the characters you've played, who has the most significance for you personally?
Significance?
Yes. Like lasting impact type thing?
It's tough to say because I put 1,000% into anything I ever did. I didn't want anything to ever be a throwaway. As insignificant as it may have seemed, like an incidental character or something offbeat, I would think long and hard before I opened my mouth. I didn't want to just crap out characters, you know what I mean? So I always thought that if you paid attention to details, eventually, I don't know, maybe nobody will notice, but eventually somebody will notice and go, boy, somebody put a lot into this, you know, because it affected them. Certain things help you to resonate when you're listening or watching. You know, some stuff is eminently forgettable, but I thought it would be worth it to always, you know, put a lot. So I like them all equal. I know it sounds weird to say that. I can't pick one. Like, it's like trying to pick your favorite child. Yeah. But don't tell them I like you better.
All right, who do we have next with the question back here?
I thought you liked me better.
No, I don't like you any better.
I'm going to go have a gun for lunch.
No, don't do that. I was just kidding.
I hope one day I have your sense of humor.
Yeah.
Aside from working with Stern, have you done any radio work yourself where you were on the air? Or
I was on radio before I did Stern. I was working in Boston on the radio.
But as an announcer or as an actor?
I worked in production, but I would also go on the air. But I didn't think, to me, being a disc jockey, everybody revered these dopey disc jockeys, you know, and it's like, it didn't hold any interest for me because I was a creative. I wanted to create. I didn't want to play records by some, you know, it was like being a curator in a museum. You just dust the statues. You didn't create them, you know, and you get to wear a radio station jacket and, yeah, I play the work of others. Aren't I something? You know, I never went for that. So, but I could do all that stuff. It's just, I would rather just go in, blank sheet of paper, God's way of telling you how hard his job was, and just create something.
Well, when you had to do something like that, did you do things to entertain yourself? The heck with the audience, but you figured if it entertained you, it would entertain somebody listening.
You have to live by that. Because your head will explode trying to think of zillions of people out there. What would they like? You know what I mean? You can't start there because there's a lot of people that don't understand that it's one-to-one when you're on radio. You know, you don't go, "Hey world," you know, you say, "You know what you and I really need is a good cup of coffee." And we got one for you here. It's Kava. No, I don't know what the ads were for, but, you know, instant coffee or something. But, I mean, you would talk to everybody as if, well, it's one person in a car or one person sitting in a kitchen listening to the radio. So, yeah, I mean, I could do all that stuff, but very little of it. I used to go in every day and just build comedy bits out of nothing. You know, just have an idea, come in, start taping, editing, adding a sound effect or some music or whatever. And it's funny because the guy I started with in radio, like 34 years ago in Boston, he and I used to sit in the back of the radio, you know, out back during our lunch break, but we wouldn't be doing lunch, we'd be doing Coke. And we'd be high as rats, you know, and I was looking up at this guy and I said, "Eddie, what must it be like to be the guy, you know, like to be the one that everybody points to as the example, the you know, the vanguard?" And he goes, "We'll never find out." And then the two of us grow up to be men, and he became the biggest comedy television producer in Hollywood, Eddie Gordetsky. He created Mom, and he works with Chuck Lorre. You know, he co-created shows. Big Bang Theory. You know, I mean, slews of them. I can't even call them all up out of memory. But that was Eddie. You know, like we were just two guys that wanted to make each other laugh. So we did it for ourselves and hoped that, you know, other people would say, hey, that's pretty funny. But, yeah, that's where all that hoopla started. But I called him up one day and I said, Eddie, one of us knows. Because he says, we'll never find out. And I said, one of us found out. Except I did too, in a way.
All right. Do we have another question for Billy right here?
Hi, Billy. Good
Hi.
to see you. You almost went over my question. You said you love all of your characters equally, like your children. I was just wondering if there was a particular character or maybe episode where after you recorded it, you just patted yourself on the back. You're like, yes, this is going to resonate.
I never do that. I'm too neurotic to do those things. No, I know what you mean. It's like, job well done. No, the artist's way is I don't really go back and watch or listen to anything I've ever done. Now and then I do, but I get too hypercritical. It's like I hear it and I go, oh, dummy. You could have done it so much better. You know, it's like you never can give birth to something. Yeah, I was on my own, but that's the artist's way, and you got to talk yourself out of stuff like that so you can give birth to something and just let it go and say, it's perfect. But there's a part of you that's going, it ain't perfect. It's not good enough for public consumption. And, you know, maybe in a way that's a way of keeping the bar off the ground. See, it'd be so much easier if I was a celebrity and I had the luxury of walking in and being who and exactly what I am for a cartoon character. Yeah, that would be so nice. I wouldn't have to bang my head against the wall. Oh, geez, they need a voice of an Italian astronaut. Oh, what am I going to do? You know, no. If you're Brad Pitt, you just come in and go, hey, how you doing? You know, oh, I'm a taxi cab. No, I'm a palm tree today. You know, same voice and nonsense.
All right. We have another one right over here with this gentleman.
Good afternoon, Billy.
Good afternoon.
How much creative control do you have over the characters? Like, I know there's the writers and stuff, but like, do you get to have any input on like lines or maybe like story stuff at all?
No, we happen to have the greatest writers I've ever encountered, and I've known them for a couple decades now. They are so clever, and I totally believe in what they do and what they offer up, and it's my job to honor the words, you know. And if I have any screwy ideas, I can always at the end go, you know, I was just thinking of something, and they're happy to accommodate you. Most of the time it winds up on the floor, but every now and then I'll get one in, you know, like I'll just say, one time I said, we were sitting at the table reading, it says opens with the Planet Express, you know, and it closes in on the front door. And I said, boy, it would be funny if there was a sign that said, sorry, we're open. And next thing you know, boom, it's in the cartoon. I didn't think they took that seriously. And there was another joke I made by accident. I mean, it wasn't an accidental, it was me just screwing around at the table read, but they put everybody's name tags, you know, Katie Seagal and Phil Lamar and Maurice LaMarche and Lauren Tom and Dave Herman and Tress McNeil. And I just, you know, everybody's sitting there and the writers are sitting over here and I pick up my name tag and I go, Billy West, what kind of a phony, fake, made-up name is that? And they were sitting right there. And then one day I'm reading an episode of the table read and it's like, here comes the line, ah! So they get it in the episode, but it was by coincidence, you know, pure chance. But that's how they work, though. Like something could happen that afternoon that they all look at each other and go, that's going in an episode.
All right. Do we have another question for Billy? I will go over here.
Hey.
And take a little walk.
Hey, Billy, how you doing?
Hi, how are you?
Oh, not too bad. What was it like to be able to voice some of the Looney Tunes?
Doing what?
Being able to voice some of the Looney Tunes.
Oh, that was that started in 1995. I had just left radio, and Ivan Reitman cast me to do Bugs Bunny for Space Jam.
And they get to work with Michael Jordan too, Doc. The closest thing to a religious figure that we have.
And yeah, I mean, I was thrilled out of my mind, and those are pretty big shoes to fill, you know. And then also they had me do, shh, be very, very quiet. I'm hunting wabbits. Wabbits. So, you know, it was great to do that stuff. That's about the extent of it. I did Bugs for like 10 years or so. But there's always been a couple of people that they could pick, you know, like Jeff Bergman. Eric Bauza. To me, he's like the heir apparent to all that stuff because he lives and breathes all those characters. I mean, I thought it was great to be able to do it and hold up a franchise. But if I had my druthers, it would be to create something from nothing. You know, when they show you a picture of a character that you've never seen before, and they're telling you about it. Hey, what would he sound like? And you have to look at the physicality, and you got to, you know, something has to talk to you. Your soul has to connect with that thing, and hopefully you pick the right thing to do that day. Yeah. So yeah.
All right, we have one right here.
Hi there, Mr. West.
Hi.
A pleasure. I have a quick question.
Yeah.
Now, if we were to talk to a younger version of yourself, say your 10, 12-year-old self, and you were given the question, what did you want to be when you grew up? What would your answer be at that time?
It would have been something different. I mean, each time, at any given year. I mean, I went through a whole thing about wanting to be in outer space. I wanted to be an astronaut. I used to imagine what it would be like to have nothing above you, nothing to the side of you, and nothing below you. I thought it was perfect for me because I'm on the autism spectrum. And that would be enough to make me happy for the rest of my life, imagining being in the middle of nowhere. You know, I mean, it's a concept, but I couldn't do anything. I couldn't tie my own shoes. I still can't. I can't tie a seatbelt right. I struggle with seatbelts. Necktie. I must have been shown how to tie a necktie 100,000 times in my life, and I still can't do it. I can't get my mind around it. And I used to go, everything I touch breaks. You know, I just don't have no aptitude for anything except what I do. And my dad just thought I was stupid. My dad was a violent, psychotic drunk, so he used to take it out on me every single day. That was my whole childhood, you know, it was a house of horrors. So the only way I could escape was to just run off and just be by myself and wonder, you know, what did I do wrong? Why can't I do this and that? You know, she had no idea because there was no words for ADHD and spectrum and all that. Yeah, can't tie my shoes. But ask me to do a friggin' Fran Drescher impression. That's autism.
You people are crazy.
Imposter syndrome.
Full-grown man. What?
I said, now I have imposter syndrome. I'm autistic, but look. Of course, it was like 8, 9, or 10 before I learned, so I guess.
Did I just look at 10 knots?
Because I double knotted them and they kept coming loose.
Oh, I thought you were going to do a Get Smart thing or something with your shoe. Hello, Chief. I would have called you sooner, but I couldn't get my shoe off.
I get a unitasker, I guess.
Okay.
I like your lack of shoelaces.
What?
I like your lack of shoelaces.
I can't. It's asking for trouble. I don't want to feel shitty about myself, like struggling with something that a 4-year-old could do. You know, God gives everybody something, though, to save your ass. I really believe that, even if you haven't discovered what it is yet. I also think that I love doing these shows, and I'll tell you why. I mean, there's many reasons, but one of the big reasons is that I've been doing these shows since there was only 3 of them. Only 3 cons in the entire United States. You know, there was like Atlanta, Chicago, San Diego, and maybe one more. New York. Something like that, yeah. But there was just very few of them, and now there's got to be 600 of them all over the world, and they do them 3 times a year, and there was only once a year back then. But what I noticed is there was never any trouble. There was never any bizarre stunt, you know? Like, all you have to do is pick up the newspaper, and you read every other day that somebody tried to dance with a bison in Yellowstone Park. You know, and get gored and get killed. And you go, good. No, because if I was Mother Nature, I'd be sitting there going, what do you want from me? I had to take him out. I had to. I don't want that shit in the gene pool. My job is to make sure the species evolves forward, not backwards. You know, and now I hear there's a syndrome called Dunning-Kruger where people are so stupid they don't even know they're stupid.
I had a boss like that.
Yeah, I did too, all of them. No, but that's a real thing. And so what I notice at the shows is most people are on the spectrum, and everybody, there's gifts. You know, there's storage houses, and when you discover what your superpowers are, look out. But the thing is the qualities that people have at the shows are like, there isn't a misogynist around, there isn't any toxic masculinity, there isn't a narcissist within 100 miles. Everybody's an empath. And I said, what a friggin' beautiful world this would be if that's the way it was. You know, I mean, I think it's the next step in human evolution. It might take about 200 years to replace all the imbeciles, but it has to happen. It does. I mean, that's how nature works. That's how it's always worked. You know, it's like these people, these imbeciles slugging at each other out. They're going to cancel themselves out. Full-grown men on an airplane decide to have a fist fight at 35,000 feet. And I'm sitting there going, where do you freaks come from? When did this start? You know, and it was like devolution. So I started thinking in terms of autism being the next phase in human evolution, because nature has to make a correction. We're in trouble. Anybody that doesn't think we're in trouble is daydreaming, you know? Yeah, seriously. I mean, we're losing the qualities that make us human. People, you know, wanting to knife each other over a parking space. And it's like, where do you freaks get off?
And all those people are going to vote, too.
Yeah, I know. Please don't remind me. I get dual citizenship to Ireland. I do. I saw this shit coming years ago.
And he can't go there. We established that.
That's right. He can't go there.
All right, next question.
I actually have an offshoot of that. I don't know how many times I've seen like TikToks of people reacting to people cooking. It's like, why? How do you not know how to cook a chicken? You just cook it till it's well done.
It's not about that. It's about the desperation to create some kind of bullshit content so that other people can watch it. You know, it's like these people, it's like, today I'm going to be listening to Ray Charles records. And so the guy's sitting there and he's going, yeah, that's my content. Like and subscribe. Smash that button. Patreon, TikTok, go fuck me. Like in bio. Link in bio. Hey guys, a million hey guys. Whatever you watch.
Hey guys, this is me in my private jet.
You know. Huh? What language is that?
We used to be called German Girl in America, and about Fady from Germany.
Okay. You have all this post-production going on in your head. I just joined. I don't know where you are. You had a whole thing going on for half an hour, and I just joined. There you go.
All right. Do we have another question? We'll let this guy speak.
Hey.
Hey, Billy.
How are you?
I'm doing well. How are you? Good?
Doing okay.
Now, we just established that you don't watch your own stuff. You kind of avoid that for the most part.
I sort of do, but I don't as a rule.
As a general rule.
Yeah.
So what does entertain you? What do you watch? What tickles your funny bone or gets you intrigued when you're watching the small or big screen?
I watch nature shows. I do, because I feel like that's the one thing that I'm not being effed with, watching nature. animals. Animals are pure. I'm like in search of purity and truth, and there's nothing more pure or truthful than an animal. You know, I mean, it's just a thing with me. But I mean, I like old stuff. You know, like recommending movies to people that have no idea, like 12 Angry Men. To Kill a Mockingbird, all that stuff. They can't make a movie like that now if if their lives depended on it. No, we got to see Cloudy with Meatballs Part 8.
Forget that. I'll throw in the 1956 version of Moby Dick.
With Gregory Peck. I seek the white whale. Call me Ishmael.
All right, we have another one over here.
I'm going to turn my chair this way.
Hey, Billy.
Hi.
Now, you mentioned some about, like, watching nature shows. Where would you like to go, like an ideal vacation, just like anywhere in the world or, an ideal vacation spot?
I've seen places. Don't think I can get there right away. I mentioned yesterday when we were all sitting here that all I know how to do is work. I mean, ever since I joined the workforce, that's all I did. And in this particular field, I've been working for 40-something years, and I don't remember ever going off to enjoy myself, Not really. I mean, very, very temporary, because the work was always the most important thing to me. But I got divorced at the end of last year. And I got married in New York, so I'm living in California, so I'm on Zoom court, because it was the pandemic. And all these little boxes on Zoom, it looked like the Brady Bunch. It's a story of a couple of shysters and another lawyer and an asshole and a judge, Yeah. So I'm looking, and the judge was an older woman, and she's looking at me. And I said, she's going to clobber me. She sees every piece of shit day in and day out. Oh, I didn't mean to hit her. Her face got in the way of my fist. I don't have any money. The Jews took all my money. I mean, she sees that stuff daily. And I said, she's going to clobber me. And I was wrong because I was a good guy. I was a real good guy. I wasn't like a schmo that tried to hide money or screw my wife over, any of that stuff. I was a good guy. And she saw the evidence of it, and she said, I've seen everything here, and I'm going to go with the recommendation of your attorneys, your solicitors. And then she just looked at me right in the camera, and she went, you go and enjoy your life, like that. And I said, thank you, Your Honor. But it emotionally resonated with me so much. I was just like, you know what? I don't think anyone's ever told me that in my entire life, and it rang true to me. I'm gonna go do something about that. So I just look at the globe, and I pick some stupid spot in the Caribbean. And I said, I'm gonna just take the time and go there. And I went out in that blue water, and it was warm, and it was like baptism, because I never went off and enjoyed my life. And I had nothing to do, and I was floating around up to my neck, and I start giggling like a mental patient. Why did it take so long to figure this out? Because it was so nice. I felt like I was in the palm of God's hand. Okay, enough of that.
All right, back here.
Hi, Billy.
Hi.
So out of all the things, you've done so many things in your life, is there like a role that you never got that got away?
No, I never think of it like that. I audition for something, and then when I leave, I totally forget about it. Yeah, because that's neediness, It's like, oh, I hope they call me. Maybe I should go back and ask them if I can do it again. That neediness has a particular stench to it. Yeah. You don't do that stuff, and I don't worry about it. It's like whatever happens, happens. I can't think any other way because, like I said earlier, your head will explode. It's like trying to control the weather.
All right, do we have another one right up here?
Hi, Billy.
Hi.
I'm just curious. Do you ever feel a sense of attachment to a character or like a sense of loss if like the role ends and you think about maybe you'll never get the opportunity to?
The worst sense of loss that I encountered was whenever Futurama got canceled. I felt like, not only do I love these people that I work with, but I'm in awe of them. I admire all of them. It's like very few people know what it's like to walk into a room full of genius level performers. It'd be like being a scientist and walking in the control room at NASA, and every little person you're looking at is like some kind of genius level something or other. And I frame every single second in my gallery. I've been telling my people that I work with, I started calling up everybody and tell them, I just want you to know that I love you and you're important to me. And what does it take to do that, I don't know how long I have left, in like 8 friggin' years, I'll be 80 years old. I don't know how long I'm going to be around. So I made sure that I tell everybody, anybody that means anything to you, you better get it in because maybe they'll be gone. I've gotten bulletins on friends of mine. Guys from my time don't make it much beyond 78. I don't know why that is, but most of my friends, from the old days, yeah, did you hear about so-and-so? Yeah, you hear about so-and-so. And so, but I wanted to preempt misery and diseases if I could. I mean, sometimes it's just the luck of the draw, but I became a vegan like 33 years ago. And I said, that's it. I'm just going to eat vegetables. And you know what? You go, what am I trying to prove? You know what you prove? You go to a heart doctor one day and they do all the tests on you and the doctor says, I don't know what it is you're doing, but keep doing it. You have the heart of a 19-year-old in my glove compartment. No, he's told me that. I don't have any blockage. Because I don't eat meat. I don't eat any junk. I don't drink. I don't smoke. I don't do drugs, I live like a Boy Scout. Everybody thinks I'm like some kind of out of control nut or something, but I'm like I'm little Johnny Jones, the boy next door with no dick. Sorry, folks. She's looking the other way.
Something I haven't heard mentioned yet, and a property that was meaningful to me as a kid is Doug. I'm sure many of you watched Doug. Doug was like, cartoon characters, a lot of times you can find little things to relate to.
Yes.
But often as a child, I didn't find a character that I was like, oh, that guy's like me.
Yes.
And Doug was one of the first ones. So talk about that character and how that came in. Did you understand that you were relating to kids in a way that other shows weren't, in my opinion?
You have no idea what's going on because you can't be overseeing it. You're in the middle of it, and you have no idea if something's going to be a bomb and hit the dumpster after 6 episodes or become a cultural phenomenon. There's just no way to know. And what I thought about Doug was that it was very sweet. I was doing Ren and Stimpy, which was psychotic.
Hey, Ren, will you button me? Will you shut up, you fool? Yes, I shall kill you. Oh, Ren. But Doug was very sweet, and they're 30-something years older, though, now. Yeah. So be like, Dear Journal, today... Sorry. Dear Journal, today I blew up a courthouse.
See him in court, Judge Roger Klotz. Order in the court.
Oh, look who it is. It's funny, you loser. I knew I was going to see you in here one day. I knew it. You're going to jail, funny. You got trouble written all over your face. It's even spelled wrong. But shut up. You're going to jail for 1,000 years, funny. You're going to be somebody's bitch in jail, funny. Just you wait. Oh, no.
There.
And then he runs into J.K. Simmons, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you got to imagine what could possibly happen. You think one kid of course he's going to grow up to be the mayor or a pillar of the community, and of course the other kid's going to be dead or in jail, and sometimes it's the opposite,
Yeah, well, it always hit me. I used to walk 3 miles to my grandma's house to watch Doug because we didn't have
kidding
cable.
me.
You know,
Wow.
watch in the afternoon. You know, so it was like he's overly romantic, which I was weirdly as a child. You know, and
yeah, you have crushes. I mean, they try to tell you that a crush isn't real. Oh no, it's as real as anything.
Yeah.
You feel stuff. You know, it's chemistry happening to you.
So it's like that guy gets it. You know? So-
Yeah, I tried.
Yeah. All right. Do we have another question here?
Hello.
Hi.
So really, just kind of more funny day-to-day basis. Do you ever kind of, when you're just going about your normal life, find yourself getting into one of your characters in your head? Like you're just grocery shopping or something, for instance, just and you're frying your brain like...
No, not really. I don't, but I look at externals and especially with this Trump thing going on. I mean, I find myself watching a clip on YouTube and I want to turn the homeless into cheese and feed the hungry, you know, and people are like, yeah, you know, and that's the routines that go on in my head. I mean, I construct bits in my head just so I won't break down crying because I emotionally will fall apart reading what I read and hearing what I hear. I have to make it into screwiness, otherwise I won't survive. I'm overly emotional. I'm super sensitive, you know. I'm an empath. I can smell how you feel.
All right. Do we have another question for Billy?
Yeah.
Right over here.
So you talked about your greatest loss being when Futurama got canceled.
Yes.
How great were the episodes where you ripped on the executives when they brought you back?
You know what? Those people like that. It's an ego thing. They take it as like, boy, we really take up a lot of space in these people's minds that they're doing bits on us. You know? I mean, it's you'd think that they'd be like, you better never do that. No, they like it. Yeah, the executives in the executive boardroom swinging on tires like monkeys. And they know it's true. They know it.
All right, we had another one over here. We'll go with this gentleman here.
You mentioned that you were vegan. Do you have any like a favorite vegan dish?
Me? Oh, gosh, I don't know. My brother's a really good cook, and he doesn't touch vegetables. He just eats meat and potatoes. And I'm the opposite. You know, I eat any kind of stuff outside of that. And but he's a really good cook, and he said, I'm going to make tofu, almost like fried chicken, but it's tofu. You use hard tofu. You don't use the soft stuff, or you'll have a big glop on your hands. But he made me a whole thing of it. And when I was married, my wife was a vegan chef, so I never went without. I was always like, oh, this is so exciting. Rice dishes that have bits, ingredients, and yeah. There's a whole world of stuff. Yeah.
All right, I believe we had one over here. I missed.
Hey, Billy, a little bit of a different question, but I know you're Boston native, and I couldn't help but notice the last few days you've been wearing your Boston jacket.
Yeah,
There's a
seriously.
Big game 2 tonight, so I was just
Big
wondering.
game 2 tonight.
Will you be tuning into the game tonight, and do you
Fucking
keep up
A.
with the finals? Awesome. Celts, let's go. Celts
Fucking
in 4?
A, right?
Celts in 4?
Celts in 4.
All right.
Yeah. I used to go see the Celts at the Madison Square Garden there. No, not Madison. Boston Garden. Over there. You know where there's only one place in the world where you can hear a particular thing. It's New England. And it means get the F out of here. But the cops would stop us if we were underage drinking beer, and the cops would come up and go, dump them things out. Dump them out. Come on. I'll take you down to jail. You want to get arrested? You want to get locked up? Dump that beer. Oh, shit. All right. And okay. And then he goes, now get out of here. Screw. And screw meant beat it. Get out of here. But I've never heard it anywhere. I've been all over the world. I've never heard somebody say, screw. And that's Boston and vicinity. So there's your big lesson on local dialect.
All right. Do we have another question over here? All right. I'll let you go.
All right. I know I asked a question earlier, but how would you feel if they had Donald Trump's head in a jar in Futurama? And how would your other characters have responded to him?
Oh,
Made fun
God.
of him?
I don't know. They may have covered that junk on The Simpsons. You know, I'm sure they have had him on, not in person, but, you know, somebody like Harry Shearer or one of them imitating him. I don't know. I used to do Paris Hilton's head in a jar.
Yeah, that's hot. That's hot. That's so hot.
You know. Yeah, okay.
Shut up!
No, I used to do Stephen Hawking. You suck. I used to do Stephen Hawking doing sit-down comedy. I can't do it. He wanted to learn comedy from the Three Stooges, and it's like, if you throw a pie in somebody's face, it's funny. Why would I want 3.1745576 in my face?
All right, we probably have about enough time for maybe two more.
Wait a minute, you're that busy? You have to leave?
Oh, no, I'll stay as long as you want.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
Just
I was
checking.
trying to respect your time.
Yeah, thank you, lovely.
All right, right here.
You've said that you travel a lot just for cons. Is there any place that a con comes up because of where it's located that you're like, I'm definitely going there?
I'm definitely going there? Yeah. In the world? I've been to Wales. I've been to England a few times. Manchester, London, all that. There's one in Dubai. And they said, we would really like to have you. You are a craftsman. You're a brilliant artist. And I wanted to say, yeah, but I kind of don't like your human rights record with women. You know, I'd be afraid to go there. Somebody like me would break Sharia law by accident. You know, it's like, how did you like the dinner? Out in the middle of the desert with a black velvet hood on my head. Effendi, you are brilliant, you're genius, voice level talent, but you are an infidel. I just know it. That's why I won't go. If they had one in the Maldives, I'd go. Yeah, or Moorea or Bora Bora, I'd go. Yeah, that's where I would go.
All right, who's got a really good one here? Right here, this gentleman. Pressure's on.
Hope it's a good question. How you doing, Billy?
Hi.
I was actually wondering, going off of the point you made about, the heads in the jar, and from Futurama, and I know you had like a bit of a personal, beef with Nixon,
Oh, right.
And like how it was kind of like a full circle thing where you were able to voice him. Were there any other points throughout your career where you had that like full circle moment where like something from real life kind of like meshed in, and you're like, oh wow, this is like a revelation, like that I got
full circle,
you kind of like got back at him or them or that person for like, what they did in the past. Like,
oh, well, a lot of people may not know the story, but in 1962, I think it was, the presidential debate, it was the first televised presidential debate ever. And it was John F. Kennedy and Richard M. Nixon. And John F. Kennedy, they shot him in soft focus. They made him look like a matinee idol. You know, he had this buttered toast hair and the ultra bright smile and, gleam in his eye. And then the Kennedy's people instructed the cameraman to do extreme close-ups on Nixon. So it just was hideous. I mean, he was like, you could see his beard growing in, he was sweating, and his hair was matted, and John F. Kennedy, we chose to go to the moon. And Nixon was like, I want to be president of the United States. And I looked, and he was such a mess, and I said, Mom, he looks like he's going to turn into a werewolf. Because I was a horror fan, and I remember Larry Talbot, and he starts turning into a whatever you do, lock that door and don't let me out, no matter what you hear in here, And so I always, the writers said to me, when you're doing Nixon, how come you do Aru? What is that? I said, oh, you don't like it? And they go, no, we love it. We just don't know why you do it. So I explained, and I said, I want to be president of the United States because Aru. Earthicans. Ow! Yeah, so, and that bastard drafted me in 1970. I was going to go to Vietnam. Luckily, I had the flattest feet they ever saw, and I had hypertension. But to this very day in the Nixon library, though, on a continuous loop is all the Nixon stuff I did on Futurama in his library. I won! Aru!
All right, well, it's been so great having you
Thank
back,
you.
Billy. I mean, you're a friend of the con, not
Thank you,
just
I
a
am.
guest now. So to send everyone off, what would one of your characters, and you can pick, say about Altoona, Pennsylvania, and your visit here if they could?
Altoona is in the middle of nowhere.
All right, that's Billy West. We're not going to beat that.
You watched that whole video. Lucky you. You should subscribe to it or something. It makes you smart, like me. So have Fandom and follow your fun. Oh, and shut up and take my videos.